All set, Carol.
Great, thank you, Melissa. Good evening, everyone. This is Carol Usman, Chair of the Dover Planning Board. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:01 on September 15th. We're going to take a roll call vote. Jody Shu,
Here.
Val Lynn,
Here.
and of course I'm here, so that's the three of us. And we will expect that Katie Williams will join us in a few minutes. This meeting is being recorded. It's also being held via Zoom versus guidance from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And the Zoom link can be found on the agenda on the Dover Town webpage. And of course, you could go to the Dover YouTube page to watch the recording at your leisure. So we have a couple of site plan review applications tonight. We'll start with the first one, which is a site plan review for a ground-based solar system at 51 Pine Street. Melissa, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Carol. I am just promoting Artie Crocker is the vendor for this installation. I've been working with him on the application, and I also see Tom W., who I believe is the homeowner. So just promoting them to be able to discuss and give testimony as needed. Let me just pull up my materials here. Share screen.
Welcome, Tom. Welcome, Artie.
Thank you.
Hopefully I got my sound working.
Yes.
Yep. There we go. Nice to meet you all.
And you.
Okay. So what we have here tonight, members of the board, is an application for a medium scale ground installation at 51 Pine Street. I've been working with Artie Crocker, who is the vendor on this particular application for the Whiteley family. They're interested in mounting ground mount 68 solar panels in the front yard, I guess is the best way to describe it. I have an aerial photo here on the screen, and you can just see the aerial view. And if you can see my cursor, the array is going in this area of trees in the front yard. And this shows it a little bit better here. Let me blow up my screen so we can zoom in. I hope everyone can see that. Where my cursor is, we see the array is proposed perpendicular to Pine Street, so running the long way into the property. And then you can see the electrical connections leading back up to the main house. This report was a little more lengthy and a little more detailed, taking into account and into consideration regulations for solar array installation, which I've included here for the planning board. They've provided most of the information. I think one of the things that's outstanding is landscaping. And I know that the property owner has desires to do some landscaping, and we have some desires to have some screening and buffering of the array, noting that 4 trees will be removed as part of this installation.
Excuse me for just a moment, Melissa. Could you let
Yes.
Katie in? She's in the.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you.
Let me see if I can get back there.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yep. Nope, that's okay. And here's Kate. Okay. She should be all set. Okay.
Okay, great.
You're welcome. And again, highlighting these items in red, these are all of the regulations and criteria that relate to screening and buffering. Again, that's going to be sort of the main, I think, focus point here. And then this item here of proof of liability insurance, which has also been conditioned. So the findings for this particular installation are pretty straightforward. The small and medium solar arrays are typical in the residential setting. They are proposing to put this in the front yard portion of the lot, as mentioned earlier. Traffic, not impact, noise, those types of things, lighting and whatnot and don't really come into play with this particular type of installation. There's no concerns about parking. There's no concerns about traffic increases or circulation. This is accessory to the main use of the property, which is a single family dwelling. And then really getting into I wouldn't say concern, but the main focus of the report here is in fact the conditions and the decision. So Carol, I'm not sure if you want to hear from the applicant and then I can close with that material.
Right, let's open it up for discussion amongst all of us, including the applicant and the engineer, and then we'll get to the conditions.
Okay.
So, Artie, and thank you, Melissa, for that review. Artie, do you have anything to add that would help us in understanding the project? Or Tom?
I don't believe there's too much more I can add. As per Melissa's request and the requirement of Dover, we supplied I believe a fairly in-depth analysis of what the array was going to be and the height of the array, and obviously the position of it and the affected surface that was going to be taken up by the array and in the pathway back to the house. We're certainly here to do whatever we need to do to make certain that we abide by the Dover regulations. I mean, I live next door in Needham. I'm the chair of the planning board in Needham and used to be on the Conservation Commission. So I'm well aware of, we do what's right and we try to make it as complete as possible before we even getting to this point. So, whatever questions you have, I am here to help answer.
Thank you, Artie. You are ready for us. Which hat do you have on tonight, right?
Yeah, well, trust me, I have another meeting going on. I have to go right after.
Okay, we'll make this as quick as we can for you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Tom, is there anything that you would like to say to the planning board members?
No, other than to thoroughly recommend anyone working with Artie and his team. They've been great.
Good to know.
Bit of a plug there for your Artie, sorry.
Thanks, Tom, appreciate it.
I do have a couple of questions. One is where is the construction access going to be from? Are you going to go up the driveway and do all the construction from the house down, or are you planning on opening up the stone wall or that little fenced area from Pine Street?
No, not at all. We'll be coming in from the circular driveway down that pathway into the array. In the equipment, what we use to basically drill the screws into the ground for the ground mount is essentially just a walk behind unit. So fairly, I'd say fairly benign, but fairly easy to just roll over the grass and get down to where the array is, which will be certainly well marked off ahead of time.
Okay, great. And will this be connected to the grid, or is it going to be self-standing?
This is connected to the grid, and as the requirement, as almost essentially every project that we deal with, we have the Eversource approval already. When we put the packet into the town, to the building department, all the approvals will be in there. All the 3-line diagrams will be in there. I think even our insurance policy will perhaps even be in there as well. So it's a fairly complete packet that we supply. The construction of the array itself and all the electrical diagrams are always required for especially for something like this and for everything related to solar.
Yep.
And it is connected to the grid.
Right, thank you. So are there any questions from any of the planning board members?
I just had a question. I saw the abutter list. Thank you for including that, Melissa. Is there have any abutters raised questions, Melissa, to the office or anything of that nature?
Yes, Jody, I did have the property owner at 50 Pine across the street come by the office late in the day today. Went over the plans with him. He was voicing concerns about the previous owner, Mr. Paradise, who did some substantial tree removal at that particular location. The abutter also had questions about the scenic road, and we talked briefly about this difference between the scenic road versus removal on the lot. And then also shared with him the conditions and that we also had concerns about screening and buffering, and that we were going to be conditioning a landscaping plan to be submitted prior to the start of work.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from planning board members? Okay, in that case, I'm going to make a motion would somebody please make a motion to approve the conditions and decisions in this document, preliminary site plan review approval decision dated today?
I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to approve the preliminary site plan review approval decision dated today. Is that enough?
That's great. And do I hear a second?
A second.
Great, thank you, Katie. So Melissa, would you read the motion, please?
Yes.
The whole,
After review
section
and
4.
consideration of the preliminary site plan review application. Hold on, I'm just gonna shrink this down so I can see. After review and consideration of the preliminary site plan review application in its meeting of September 15th, the planning board voted to approve the application and supporting materials referenced above in section 2 with the following conditions. Condition 1, prior to the issuance of a building, the approved site plan and supporting materials may be approved administratively by the planning board chair. Condition 2, upon completion of the project, future modifications to the MSGMF, which is my abbreviation for the medium solar ground mount, shall be subject to compliance with the zoning bylaw and may require additional review and approval by the planning board. All lighting associated with the MSGMF shall not spill or glare onto adjoining property or to Pine Street. Not sure if there's some security lighting or something like that that's needed. Nonetheless, we don't want Artie shaking his head no. The applicant shall file for and comply with all requirements pursuant to the general bylaw, stormwater management and erosion control, chapter 159, as required by the Department of Public Works, including all project review by the town engineer. Prior to the start of any on-site work, the applicant shall mark the 4 trees shown on the plan to be removed. Town planner will conduct a site visit to ensure the trees that are marked are consistent with the approved plans. Pursuant to regulations 247-5, prior to the start of any on-site work, the applicant shall provide proof of liability insurance. Condition 7, prior to the start of any on-site work, the applicant shall submit to the town planner a landscaping plan that depicts the location, quantity, and species of all proposed buffering and screening vegetation required for the SMGM SPF. Said plan can be administratively approved by the planning board chair. Pursuant to regulation 247-8, no small or medium scale ground mounted solar photovoltaic installation shall be constructed until evidence has been given to the planning board that the utility company that operates the electric grid where the installation is to be located has been informed of the solar installation. Off-grid system shall be exempt. I think Artie noted tonight that he has that, so that will be forthcoming. Condition 9, pursuant to regulation 247-9, all such appurtenant structures, including but not limited to equipment shelters, storage facilities, transformers, and substations shall be architecturally compatible with each other and shall, per the planning board, arrays and pertinent structures should be screened with plantings as required in condition 7 to avoid adverse visual impact. Prior to, number 10, prior to any work on site and pursuant to regulations 247-7, the applicant shall provide a copy of the contract or right of entry sufficient for all construction and operation of the proposed solar photovoltaic installation. Condition 11, pursuant to 247-10, signs on small and medium ground mounted photovoltaic installation shall comply with the sign bylaw and any applicable sign regulations. A sign shall be required to identify the owner and 24-hour emergency contact phone number. B, solar photovoltaic installation shall not be used for displaying any advertising except for reasonable identification of the manufacturer or operator of the solar photovoltaic installation. And then prior to the start of any work, condition 12, prior to the start of any work, on site pursuant to regulations 24-11, emergency services, the small and medium scale ground mounted solar photovoltaic installation. Owner or operator shall provide a copy of the project summary, electrical schematic, and site plan to the local fire chief. Upon request, the owner or operator shall cooperate with local emergency services in developing an emergency response plan. All means of shutting down the solar photovoltaic installation shall be clearly marked. The owner or operator shall identify a responsible person for public inquiries throughout the life of the installation. So again, most of those items are directly from our regulations, which for this particular use have some different caveats, and we just want to make sure those are clear to the installer and property owner as they move through their project.
So thank you for that, Melissa. I'll give your voice a quick rest and a couple of questions. That was a long one.
Yeah.
One question I did not ask was that, are there any pertinent structures besides, and are there any structures between the house and the actual solar array panel, like any kind of, electrical boxes or that kind of stuff?
No, there won't be anything between the array and the house. At most, what we will have is right at the array itself, we'll have a shut off. We'll have a disconnect switch at the array, but it's not gonna be a separate structure. It'll
Okay,
literally be on the-
some we've seen where there's actually been
Yeah, it'll likely be on the array. Is it possible to have a small little pedestal right near it? Possible, but we're likely going to try to mount it right on the array itself, because this is not, this array uses a certain inverter style where it's not like some of the other ones where they have a larger box or a larger box requiring a bigger structure. It just requires essentially a small disconnect switch.
Okay, great, thank you. So before I take a vote, any other questions or comments? In that case, we will take a roll call vote. Katie,
Yes.
Val,
Yes.
Jody, and Carol, yes. So duly passed. Thank you very much, Tom and Artie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much, and I appreciate all the time that you put into your town, because I know what it's like. So thank you very much.
And to you too, Artie. Say hello to John Connolly for me.
Oh, I know John well. Oh, yeah. I know. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, good night.
Everyone, bye.
Good night, Tom. Okay, so with that, we'll go to agenda item 2B, which is a site plan review at 201 Dedham Street for a pool. Melissa, I'm going to turn this back over to you.
Yes, Carol, thank you. And I am just promoted John King. He is with Environmental Pools. I've been working with him on these two applications. The first one being 201 Dedham Street. Let me just pull up some materials here to review with the board.
Now, John, you're doing double duty tonight.
There we go.
Yeah, yes, I have two
Yes.
projects up. I don't know, I'm sure you know, we do pretty much every pool in town right now.
Just about. Excuse me for a second, Melissa. Val would like you to let her in, and then she'll disconnect from the phone.
Oh, okay. Oh, yep. There we go, Val. Sorry, Val. She should be all set, Carol.
Okay.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this particular application, 201 Dedham Street, the Marzellas, this particular property, is looking for an 18 by 38 internally lit pool. Why can't I move my screen? Oh, there we go. With all gunite pools tonight with the auto cover, which sounds really nice and fancy. With some patio and decking around it as well. Pretty straightforward application. We have the materials here that was submitted. Mr. King did a nice job with the materials. Has spent some time with the town engineer as well, going over a bunch of things. This lot is I would say, undergoing some renovations and whatnot now. And they were in front of the board for a scenic way approval back in March of 2025 for a temporary construction driveway and the permanent relocated driveway. So those will be utilized as part of this construction as well. Parking, not an issue. The driveway is very expansive. The houses the pools to the rear of the house and the rear yard, logical location. Again, not concerned with detriments to the surrounding area. Pool design is taking advantage of the existing topography with some very nice grading. I consider pretty well designed and somewhat natural. I'm assuming that there is going to be some type of landscaping going on post once everything is done out there, I would assume. Not necessarily overly concerned with the location of the pool per se, but just in general. And again, there's really not impact to the surrounding area, in my opinion. And then we do have more of our boilerplate conditions on this particular one for the members.
Okay, thank you for that, Melissa. Mr. King, do you have anything to add?
It's a pretty basic gunite pool. It will have an auto cover as well as fenced in. It's pretty far away from the neighbors. The lighting will be very muted and understated. Nothing crazy or anything like that. Just a very typical rectangle pool that we do in town.
Okay, thank you. Planning board members, any questions?
None for me, thank you.
No, Val?
No, none for me, thank you.
Okay, I have none as well. So with that, I think, Melissa, I will ask you again
Yep.
to read the decision after I make a motion, after someone makes a motion. Jody?
Sure, make a motion, we're not approving yet, are we making the motion, sorry, to just
Yes.
read the decision?
No, to approve.
Okay, make a motion to approve the preliminary site plan review approval decision for the applicant Joseph Mazzella and site address 201 Dedham Street, dated today, I believe.
Do I hear a second?
Second. No,
Okay.
third.
Melissa, you can pick one for the minutes.
Yeah. We'll give that one to Val. Because I can't even see Katie.
Do we have,
Yeah, so Melissa's going to read the motion.
okay, got it. Oh, she's pulling it.
Okay, after review and consideration of the preliminary site plan review application at its meeting of September 15th, 2025, the planning board voted to approve the application supporting materials referenced above in section 2 with the following conditions. Prior to issuance of a building permit, minor modifications to the approved site plan and supporting materials may be approved administratively by the planning board chair. Condition 2, upon completion of the project, future modifications to the in-ground pool shall be subject to compliance with the zoning bylaw and may require additional review and approval by the planning board. 3, all lighting associated with the pool shall not spill or glare onto adjoining properties. 4, the applicant shall file for and comply with all requirements pursuant to the general bylaw, stormwater management and erosion controls, Chapter 159, as required by the Department of Public Works, including all project review, I'll fix that, required by the town engineer. 5, the applicant shall file for and comply with all requirements of the Conservation Commission. 6, the applicant shall file for and comply with all requirements of the Board of Health. And 7, the pool must be filled by a private water source via truck. No use of any on-site well is permitted.
Thank you very much. Do we have any further questions before we take a vote? Seeing none, let us take a vote. Val,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
Jody,
Yes.
and Carol, yes. Okay, so this application is approved. And we can go on to the next one.
Don't leave, John.
It's a very similar pool. I believe the lot.
Oh,
Wait, I just have
hold
to.
on a second.
This is this is a pool application at 139 Center Street.
Thank you. Sorry, I jumped the gun on that.
Right, all right.
Very
Sorry,
similar
Carol, I'm
pool.
not sure if you saw there are questions in the Q&A.
No, I have not. Let me click on that.
And I believe it pertains to the prior pool.
Oh, geez, that's not good. Jay Tang we didn't see those.
Okay,
I don't even see the Q&A on mine.
down below. You sort of, I didn't see it either because when you're doing the full screen, you sort of have to
Oh,
click on the
okay.
button for it to show
I
up.
still don't see it.
You don't see
Oh,
it
Q&A.
I'll
Let
be
me pull
happy
that
to
up.
see it. How's that sound?
down on the
Melissa?
bottom. So perhaps we can let Mr. Tang in. These are questions from Jay Tang, who is currently an attendee. And while you're getting him in, let me read the questions, and my apologies to Mr. Tang. Is there a drawing for the exact footprint of the pool on their lot plot? Also, is the fence marked on drawing? I raised my hand but overlooked the panel. Oh well. Okay, so that was his basic question.
Would you like me to answer or?
Yes, please. Yes. Is Mr. Tang on now or is he, let's see.
He should be.
Yes, I am.
Yes,
Yeah, there's Jay, yep.
My apologies. We didn't see your question. So,
It's okay. I only received this letter over the mail over the weekend, so I didn't get time to look at the, map or drawing, if any, that comes with this application. I'm the abutter neighbor, by the way, at 203 Dedham Street. So I'd just like to have, some knowledge of the planned location of the pool and then, the fence plan, if any, because my property is right next to it.
sure. So we can do that two ways. We can either quickly pull up the plan.
Yep.
There we go. And then we've already approved this, Mr. Tang, but if you will spend just a little bit of time here going over this for you. And then if you have further questions or need further detail, I would suggest that you contact Melissa, our town planner, and she can
Okay.
talk to you in more detail or come into the office and you could see the plans in a bigger format if that helps.
Carol, if I may just point out a couple things in response to Mr. Tang's question. Mr. Tang, if you can see the line with the little boxes that's attached, that represents the fence line. And that's called out as a proposed fence. So that's going to be running down your common property boundary, separating your property from there, as the fence will be right on the line so that the pool is completely contained. And then it also looks like from that section, it's going to come over to the house, and then it will pick up on the other side of the house, not go all the way to the opposite property line, but essentially box off the rear yard. So the entire backyard will be fenced in off of the house, as shown in this particular drawing here.
And it looks like, and the fence will be at a minimum 40 feet from the property lines, which is the setback in an R2 district.
Okay, well, thanks for showing me this.
Okay, my apologies again, but thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Okay, so with that, we will now move on to, let me get rid of these questions. Okay,
We have no attendees left. Okay.
great.
When we were going to 139, correct? 139
Yes.
Center
Yep.
Street? Yep. Okay, members of the board, Carol, tonight we have our third application, also Mr. King's application with environmental pools at 139 Center Street. Again, this property is undergoing a full rebuild. The lot was purchased recently by the Betancourt family. And this particular pool is 20 by 40 in ground, same gunite auto cover. And this one is going to be located to the rear of the structure as well. The findings again are pretty straightforward. There's no concerns about coverage. This one is in fact also located on a scenic way. There is no proposed alteration along the frontage. However, we should verify that. Mr. King, do you know if that is the case, that they'll be using the existing driveway?
We will be using the existing driveway. I believe that that house is under full reconstruction.
Yep.
And they have been using the driveway, and I don't believe any trees or anything like that have been cut down or will be cut down to make access for us to do the pool.
Okay, moving along. Again, the pool's accessory to the single family use in the backyard. You won't see it from the street. The house is set back, I think, some 600 feet or something like that. It's very private and will not impact any of the abutting properties. They've been very sensitive also to the clearing. I noticed the lot's pretty wooded and they've essentially just cleared what they need to get the house in there and the backyard accessory features in the backyard. No impact to town resources and again, zoning compliance is not an issue. It's a very big lot. And they're doing sort of a full, as Mr. King noted, full redevelopment of the entire property.
Yeah, I believe this property had come before us. It was either maybe for an A&R or change of lot lines
Okay.
months ago. Any questions for Mr. King?
None for me, thank you.
Now,
Okay,
Carol, should we pull up the map just for
sure,
completeness?
absolutely. Melissa, would you like to pull up the plot plan?
Sure. You just stop share. I got too many things going here. 139 Center. Okay. See if this works. Share. There we go. Okay. Let me zoom in a little bit. So you can see here, the limited clearing. You can see still the tree line and the limited clearing with some minor grading. But again, very, very large property and really kind of just using sort of that knoll, I guess. There's a substantial topography changes here to put the new house in. Nice big house. And then they have the pool and the sports court for the kids.
So Melissa, could you show us where the fencing is going to be?
Yep, let me zoom in a little bit further. The fencing on this one is, can you see my cursor when I use the cursor or no?
Yes, yep.
Okay, perfect. So I'm at the corner, one of the corners of the house. The house has got a couple corners. So they're gonna have the fence come right off the back of the house. This is sort of, again, taking advantage of the cleared area and topography. And the fence is coming around the pool projection, just like this, and tying right back into the house. So in this particular case, they don't have much of an improved yard. They're going to have, you know, the pool area, which will be very nice. And then they'll have the sports area, but not a situation where they're fencing in, you know, the whole entire yard to meet the fence requirements for the pool.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? In that case, we could go back to the decision.
There we go.
And Jody, would you like to make a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the preliminary site plan review application for did you say 139?
139.
I'm not seeing it on the screen. I lost what Center Street we're on.
139.
139 Center Street. And the accompanying application that's been discussed this evening, September 15th.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Val.
And the conditions this evening, very similar to the last one. Keep it consistent for Mr. King. After review and consideration of the preliminary site plan review application at its meeting of September 15th, 2025, the planning board voted to approve the application and supporting materials referenced above in section 2 with the following conditions. Prior to the issuance of a building permit, minor modifications to the approved site plan and supporting materials may be approved administratively by the planning board. Condition 2, upon completion of the project, future modifications to the in-ground pool shall be subject to compliance with the zoning bylaw and may require additional review and approval by the planning board. Condition 3, all lighting associated with the pool shall not spill or glare onto adjoining property. Condition 4, the applicant shall file for and comply with all requirements pursuant to general bylaw, stormwater management and erosion controls. I'm assuming they probably already have a stormwater permit that might need to be amended. Condition 5, the applicant shall file for and comply with all requirements of the Conservation Commission. Condition 6, the applicant shall file for and comply with all requirements of the Board of Health. And condition 7, the pool must be filled by a private water source via truck. No use of any on-site well is permitted.
Thank you very much. Any last minute questions or comments from planning board members? Seeing none, we will take a vote. Val?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Jody?
Yes.
And Carol, yes. Okay, Mr. King, you're batting 2 for 2 tonight.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much. Thank you for all the work you do.
Okay, and with that, we'll go to agenda item number 3, which is a town planner update. Melissa, back to you.
Back to me. So fresh out of Dover days, spent Saturday on the common, I'll call it, with Selectwoman Hunter, and Chair was there, and some other members of the Board of Selectmen and some other town staff. We had our handouts and our posters, and nice opportunity to engage with folks and have some more sort of one-on-one discussions, a little different atmosphere than the typical atmosphere we're used to. Really trying to encourage folks to get to town meeting. Some people admitted they had been in town for 30 years and had never been to town meeting. So I suggested that the special's a great way to get your feet wet for town meeting, so you can be ready, for spring. And aside from that, I'm going to be probably talking to Jody and Carol. We have a meeting tomorrow with town council to go over some last minute items to make sure we're ready to go. Working on putting together all of the comments that we received from the other boards, various just go-to list documents and points of information so we can be ready to go at the special. Also have our moderators meeting tomorrow night. And just for the folks here this evening and anybody watching on replay, all of the planning board recommendations in revised language is on file with the town clerk and is also available on the website. So the text that was filed was a clean copy and also highlighted copy. So anyone that is interested to see the changes, those are easily distinguished. And also I like a nice clean copy once in a while, that as well, for some other folks that know all the words and every position that they're in the document. So that's going to be the primary focus over the next couple weeks. I have been talking to a few people here and there. I think it's pool season in Dover unofficially, so we might have a few more pools coming up for October meeting. I did meet with somebody today in the office that needed a little bit more information, so they'll be coming back to file. So we could have 2 or 3 applications for our October 6th meeting. So try to keep folks posted as best as I can on what comes in. And then looking to, while I love MBTA communities and I love town meeting, looking forward to just getting into all the other things that I've sort of touched a little bit on here and there, getting my feet wet here in Dover. Lots of ideas and lots of suggestions. I will put this on as a formal agenda item at our next meeting. But just wanted to mention working with the fire department on getting a numbering system in place for the ADUs. So the planning board sees those first and also addresses the addresses here in Dover. So something that we felt was important to get on top of and have some uniformity. Obviously, number 1 being life and fire safety in the event of an emergency call. But just trying to look to streamline things, get folks involved and communicate. And I want to thank everybody for Saturday. A lot of nice compliments from folks, and just really, again, want to express how welcomed I feel here in Dover. Thank you.
And once again, as we do almost at every single meeting, thank you. All you've done. Melissa was a sight to behold. She was out there saying, "Are you a Dover voter? Let me talk to you."
And nobody asked me where I was from. I downplayed my accent a little bit. That's even possible.
No, it's absolutely great. And I think we both had wonderful conversations with folks.
Yes.
Clearly, we still have outreach to do. So Melissa's going to be continuing to work with Chris Costello and now his communication assistant, Suzanne, to really push that for the next couple of weeks. Again, as we've always talked about, it's up to us to contact our friends and neighbors and ask them to vote yes, and then ask them to come to the town meeting, which is at the Dover Sherburne Regional School System, not the townhouse, that some folks thought it was a town election. So that's a clarifying thing as well. I had the opportunity this weekend, several different occasions, just to spend a lot of time with the Doverites, and I must say that there was a amazing complimentary response to the executive summary. And I don't know if you've heard anything from your friends and neighbors as well, but I think all the work that was put into it has paid off.
Yeah,
And
I second that, Carol. I have received a variety of compliments, both for the public housing or the public meeting and for the executive summary. So you guys have really done a phenomenal job. I know that it's been lots and lots and lots of work, but it's people are very happy with the work that you've all been doing.
Oh, that's great to hear. Thank you, Val. And it even looks better when it's actually printed. Look at it on the screen, it just didn't have the same pizzazz. So I think the printer did a great job too, and I think it's very readable. The messaging is very clear, and we'll have copies to hand out, obviously, at town meeting, like we always have extra copies of the Blue Book for folks that don't bring it. And we're going to be working on Jody's going to be putting together, based on all the slides that we have from all our previous presentations, on the slide deck for the town meeting. That'll be passed around, obviously, before the town meeting for any comments and so forth. And we're also going to be working, usually we have not a particularly interesting screenshot while everybody's coming into town meeting and we're waiting for a quorum. So our thought was to have something up there, sort of maybe as just the messages from the front page of the flyer. We'll have to decide, but something up on the screen. So when folks are sitting there, we can give us another opportunity to make the points that are going to be made during the presentation, the major information points. So we'll be doing that as well.
What's it going to be? Have you decided?
Say it again?
Have you decided what it's going to be? What's going to be up on the board for them to look at?
Not quite yet. We haven't designed it yet, but I would say that the messaging is going to be up there. So if you look at the very first part of the executive summary, which I don't have in front of me, but there are 5 or 6 key bullet points. So that's certainly going to be included.
Okay.
Yep. If you have any suggestions, send them on over to Melissa.
Please.
Yeah, no, I thought the smaller and the better, and just focusing on the two things. It's a zoning regulation, and here's the amount of grants that we've gotten over the past 10 years, and here's the ones that are going, like the 2 takeaways.
Right.
I mean, that's from my perspective, I feel like the 2 big things, so that everyone gets loaded in the details of how does this affect and what is it, just these 2 really big points.
Yep. No, it's an excellent point. I mean, I think what we saw at the public hearing, which was wonderfully attended, we had 69 folks outside of the panelists. So 69 citizens attending, which it may be a record for one of our sessions.
Very well attended.
And the questions were wonderful. What we did learn was that making sure that the question gets answered by the right person or people is important. So we're probably going to go to a panel type setup on the stage at the Dover Sherburne Auditorium.
Will Nina be there?
Yes, Nina will be one of the panelists. Absolutely. Yep.
And Robin too. You both.
Robin Hunter, Nina, myself, Melissa, and Jody. So we're meeting with at the moderators meeting tomorrow night. We'll be discussing all this with the selectmen and with Jim Rapetti and Felicia. But the questions were very clear. They're complicated. We all have our areas of expertise on this, so it's important to get the right person to answer the question.
Yeah, no, you all were. When I pointed those 2 out, I didn't mean like they were the most important. I was just curious because
no, absolutely.
They added weight is all I've got to say.
Yes.
Because they're not part of the planning board, the planning board, they added a different type of weight that sort of gives people comfort in the answer is all I wanted to say.
Yeah, no, that's Kate. It's very well said.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. And we'll get all that hashed out tomorrow night. So if anything pops into your head about between now and town meeting on what should either be up on the screen while everybody's waiting, or any other issues or questions that you hear from around town, please let Melissa know. you know, we seem to, questions from the public hearing and most of the questions that I received, at least at Dover Days, had to do more with the location
Yep.
than anything else.
And
And
see,
the
I heard some feedback about like the money. There's this sort of distrust of like, oh, really, really, we have to pass this, and and what are we going to lose? You know, are we just placating the state because they're making us do this and we're jumping through hoops? I got a little bit of that, just a little bit.
Yeah. Yep.
And so some of that feedback was, listen, you know, if you've got some numbers, which of course we don't, which you pointed out, Robin, at our special meeting, you know, we don't, how do we know? We don't know what we can stand to lose, but we can tell you what we've gotten and we can tell you what we're in line for.
Right.
And these are big dollars. So you go use that information as you will. So that was the only little bit I heard, some of that.
Right, and that's why I always make it a point to say some years we get 400,000 and some years we get over 2 million because it really depends on the project. So there's no way for us to predict.
Yeah, but it's real numbers either way. They're nice big
Exactly.
numbers that are real.
And now, you know, the fact that the Commonwealth added the Chapter 90 funds, which are the funds for paving the roads, you know, those are never less than 400,000 a year.
Another great thing you have to bring up. Nobody likes to ruin their cars. We don't want to be driving around like like in Newton that's loaded with potholes.
Right. So yeah, I mean, you know, the point is when we first started with this, it was a threat. Now we know it's a reality. So you decide because we're still going to have to do this. So either your taxes go up or you pass it. Simple decision to make.
Maybe that's what goes on the screen while everybody's waiting.
Well, I tried to do that a lot, you know, in the bullet points.
Yep.
But we'll see.
Yep.
I mean, to me, it's an easy decision. The most pushback I get is also on the site selection. But again, it's also because of the confusion about 40B and this, and also the unknown with respect to what's going to happen to that second lot, you know, pastures 2, because that hasn't really been approved yet for a 40B and nobody really knows what's going to happen to that site. And for some reason, they're tying all 3 sites together.
Yeah, the timing is very unfortunate because they're conflating the two, and we you know, it's we can say one has absolutely nothing to do with the other.
Right.
But it's a little confusing. And the other aspect is understanding that zoning is not building.
Right. And understanding it's not 40B.
And, yeah, exactly. So so we'll see how it goes, but you know, hopefully we'll get a lot of folks there that understand all this and see the fact that that there's a huge risk of not approving it and really no risk of approving it. So
maybe we'll all be pleasantly surprised and the meeting will be over by 8:30, and then we'll know we did everything right.
And then Jody and I can go on our vacation.
That's right.
Hopefully,
Hey,
well
All right,
deserved.
Melissa, you come with us.
hopefully it's longer to get a quorum than it is to get the steps.
Exactly.
There you go. I have really nothing else to mention that hasn't already been. Anybody else have any comments that they want to make before we vote to adjourn the meeting?
I just have one comment, and I'm sure, Melissa, you have a long list of things that you plan on addressing. And I didn't know if when we get to the point of talking about the site plan review, I think we were going to try to go through that at some point through the year. If we can look at the definition of structure, because I don't think it's well defined in our bylaws, and I you know, maybe we can just take a look at that and determine if we need to define it a little bit more clearly.
Yeah, to Val's point, every time I open the bylaw, I make a note. So I got there's a lot of things are just, it's not a question of right or wrong. They're just not clear. And the
Right.
most important thing in a bylaw is clarity. So when Val reads something or Robin reads something or Kate we should all walk away saying, oh yeah, that means this. And there's things in the bylaw that are a little bit, I've started looking at the site plan. I have some things I'm kind of brewing up in my head about making some clear distinctions between preliminary site plan review and site plan review. And that if it's going to be preliminary site plan review, then it should be a different level of review, and it should be not, I don't want to use the word preliminary because that's not a great word. But maybe some different criteria, and that the site, if something's going to rise to the level of a full site plan review, well, there's got to be some reason for that. And there should be a different level of review associated with that. So fortunately, I have a lot of experience with this, and really kind of looking forward to, it's hard to look at just one section, but we will take it, one at a time for now. But don't be surprised if you see other recommendations, because the bylaw is really all sort of interconnected, and even the regulations, how we saw today with the solar project. So you really want to make sure that the regulations and the bylaw are covering everything, and really being clear on what the expectation is. There's a lot of redundancy in some of these things. I see similar terms repeated. And then you really want to make sure that what you're evaluating is related to what you're reviewing. So there's definitely room for improvement. Again, it's not a question of right or wrong. Clarity and conciseness are important when we're looking at zoning bylaws.
I love walking into the office and Melissa at some point going, what? And and my response is, write it down, we'll get to it.
It could be a very similar memo to the planning board from the town planner. Start over. It could be the memo. But no, it's and one thing I think that a lot of communities, and I'm sure Dover has done this, we become reactive. We hear about something, we see something we don't like, we got to write a bylaw, we got to put something in place. And that's really a detriment when you're looking at what you want to be proactive. You don't want to be reviewing things when you've been upset about it, or somebody did something that, we didn't foresee or something like that. And you look at a particular section, but it's really important to take a holistic look at things. And again, you do want to modify them section by section, but it's nice to also, when you're changing one section, I tend to, what I've done, you go through the whole bylaw as well, just to make sure that there aren't other sections that are tied to that, or you could end up with a conflict. We always put in, oh, this section should prevail if there's, a conflict in the bylaw. But it's always nice to try to have something that doesn't have those conflicts. So, looking forward to that, and really looking forward to making sure that we have definitions in place and we have bylaws and regulations in place that cover development in the community a little more holistically.
Yeah, I appreciate that. When I was looking even tonight, and in the past it's come up several times when we are looking at setbacks, and it kind of blankly says no structures in the setback, but it doesn't, there's not a real good clear definition of what constitutes a structure. And if you look at like wetland setbacks, they have different parameters for what a structure is, I think, than what we do for like side setbacks and front setbacks. So anyways, I just think and I started looking at some of the neighboring communities to see how they define structures. So I just think we could define it a little more clearly so that it's a little easier for all of us to be on the same page.
Understood.
As we said, might as well reiterate it again. Once we get through the MBTA Communities Act, Melissa's already focusing on the online permitting. Yeah, which has a very specific deadline, which is end of year, so lots to do there. And as we promised at town meeting, is to review the site plan review bylaw. So within the holistic approach, we really do need to focus on site plan review for the town meeting in May of 2026.
Yeah.
yeah.
I wanted to add one thing, Carol, just while it's fresh in my head, and understanding timeframes and things like that, and that we have 30 days to make a decision under the site plan review. And again, things take time. It's not in an effort to slow things down, but like a perfect example was some applications that we got in that had to go on the 15th because the October meeting was going to be past the 30 days. And I just, understanding other departments and their timeframes, I got the abutters list back on Thursday. So I couldn't send out the notices for a meeting tonight until Thursday. So not only does the town need time to do their work, but neighbors and abutters and residents also need time to be informed and understand what's going on. So I'm going to be looking at those types of things as well, to make sure that the things that we undertake, like the courtesy notices, that those all have a real implication because they're done in a timely manner.
Well, we will, we have not given up on moving the site plan review from 30 to 60-day review, and which did not pass last year. Maybe we look at it from a preliminary or a full site plan review, whatever.
Exactly. Yep.
And certainly I think some of the online permitting will sort of help speed some of this stuff up. But anyway, we'll get to all that in October as we start talking about these next two major items on our fiscal year 26 plans and goals. Any other comments or questions? In that case, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:03. Do I have a second?
Record, yes.
And we'll take a roll call vote. Katie?
Yes.
Val?
Yes.
Jody?
Yes.
And Carol, yes. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Please stay in touch. Please stay in touch with Melissa if anything comes up, either externally or internally in your own head, about the special town meeting. And if not, we'll see you all then. Don't forget, we do have a meeting before the 7. I think it's set for 6.
6, right? 6. Oh, I have it in my calendar.
Yeah,
6. I don't have it in
6. Yes.
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock on September 29th.
Yes, I have
We're
to
gonna-
remember to post that.
And the moderator's meeting is at 7, right?
Tomorrow night? No,
30.
that's 6:30.
Sorry.
Sorry, is our meeting in person at
Yes.
6 o'clock? Okay,
Yeah.
I don't have that in my calendar. I need to put that in. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
We meet at Mudge, right? Right there in the.
Yep, in a far table in the cafeteria.
Also,
In
Melissa.
the cafeteria, okay, because I couldn't figure out the last time at the actual town meeting where you guys were sitting. So
Okay.
if you sent this in an email, Melissa, I apologize. But so meet in the cafeteria at 6 p.m. Basically, I'll just know that at Mudge. Okay.
Yep.
Also, last scheduling question. Melissa, do we have a Zoom link for the meeting with Nina tomorrow? Or is that just in person?
That's in person.
Okay, and what time?
I
I have a hold in my calendar, but nothing.
Yeah, it is at, wait a minute.
think it's 1. Let me check. I
Yeah, I
still
have-
use a paper calendar. Let me see. Tomorrow is
It is
was it
at,
1, Carol, or 1:30?
it's at 1 o'clock
Okay.
Yep.
in the selectmen's meeting room.
Okay, got it.
Jody, do you need a link? Are you able
No,
to come in
I'll be
person?
there. Nope.
Okay,
Thank you.
awesome.
And the moderators meeting tomorrow night is in person
Yep.
in the townhouse in the Great Hall.
Great hall. Okay, got it. Oh yeah, I have that too. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so
Good
much.
night.
Bye-bye.